Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're doing something a bit different, almost like a rapid-fire news briefing.
That's right. We're focusing on the key headlines shaping India right now, April 22nd, 2025.
Think of it as your personalized bulletin, cutting through the noise to get to what really matters.
Exactly. We've pulled together a snapshot of India just from today's major news. It covers quite a range.
It really does. We've got cricket victories,
Campus concerns, some pretty sharp political exchanges.
the passing of a major global religious figure,
International trade talks, new infrastructure,
diplomatic meetings, commentary on cricket governance,
debates on farming, even a terrorism arrest overseas with links back here.
plus weather extremes, tech expansion, economic ripples from strained relations.
And even looking up towards space exploration.
So yeah, a packed agenda. Let's dive straight in.
A fascinating cross-section, really, showing how interconnected everything is.
Okay, let's start with the IPL. A big win for Gujarat Titans.
Oh yeah, commanding performance against Kolkata Knight Riders. 39-run victory.
The star. Shubhanshu Shukla, definitely. 90 runs off just 55 balls. Incredible innings.
Just fantastic striking. And those partnerships were key, weren't they?
Absolutely. First with Sai Sudarshan, 114 runs between them. Sudarshan got a quick 52 off 36 himself.
That really set the platform, didn't it? Over 110 runs in about 12 overs.
Exactly. Then Gill had another good partnership later, about 58 runs.
And Joss Butler chipped in at the end.
Yeah, steady 41 not out. Took him to a really strong total, 198 for 3.
A very defendable score. Kolkata needed a fast start.
Which they absolutely did not get. Gurbaz out first ball, huge blow.
Oof, tough start. Did anyone stand up for them?
Well, the captain, Ajinkya Rahane, he played a good knock, pretty quick, 50 off 36 balls.
Okay, some resistance there.
But once he got out-stumped, I think when the score was 91 for 4, they just sort of lost momentum.
Yeah, chasing nearly 200, losing wickets puts immense pressure on.
They ended up well short, 159 for 8.
And Gujarat's bowling, Prasid Krishna leading the attack again.
Yep, he got 2 wickets. He's still the leading wicket taker in the tournament, apparently.
And Sudarshan's innings took him to the top of the run charts, too. Right?
That's right. So good news for Gujarat. 6 wins from 8 games now. Solid position.
Kolkata, though, struggling a bit. Only 3 wins from 5. Need to find some consistency.
Okay, so a dominant display on the cricket field. But let's shift now to something more serious concerns on a university campus.
Right. This is at Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU, the Student Union Election Committee. They've actually asked for police protection.
Police protection, why?
They're citing threats, credible threats against committee members. They're worried about, well, potential attacks.
Has something happened already?
There was a previous incident, apparently. Someone forced their way into a committee member's room, caused injury, damaged property. So the fear seems quite real.
Wow. And this is impacting the student elections.
It seems so. There's talk that if a new, safe election schedule isn't announced very soon, the whole thing might just be canceled.
That's huge for student democracy on campus.
Yeah,
It must be causing a lot of anxiety.
definitely. And it raises big questions about campus security, the environment needed for a fair election.
What's the university administration saying?
Well, that's the thing. Reports suggest the committee is standing firm, wanting to hold the polls, but the administration, not much response reported so far.
That silence probably isn't helping things.
Likely not. It could be seen as a lack of support, maybe making things feel even more uncertain.
Okay, from campus concerns to the national political stage, things seem quite heated there, too.
Yes, the ruling party, the BJP, has come out very strongly against Rahul Gandhi from the Congress Party.
This is about his comments in the U.S.
Exactly. Comments regarding India's election commission. Some senior BJP figures are using pretty strong language, even calling him a traitor.
A traitor?
Yeah.
That's intense. What's the specific accusation?
Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan is quoted saying Gandhi is defaming India abroad because he's frustrated, supposedly frustrated by India's democratic recognition globally.
And the core issue is questioning the election commission.
That seems to be the main point, yes. Pradhan highlighted Gandhi questioning its credibility and impartiality.
Anyone else from the BJP weighing in?
Sambit Patra, the spokesperson, he brought up the National Herald case again.
Ah, that long-running legal issue.
Right. Accusing Gandhi of benefiting from public property and suggesting these criticisms stem from his own legal and political sort of setbacks. Undermining democracy abroad out of frustration is the claim.
What's the counterargument the BJP is making?
They're pointing out that other Congress leaders, including Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, have won elections conducted by the same election commission during this period.
So questioning why he'd challenge its credibility selectively.
Essentially, yes. It really highlights the ongoing sharp divisions in Indian politics right now.
Okay, let's shift focus now to a story that's resonated globally, the passing of Pope Francis.
Yes, very sad news. Pope Francis passed away at 88. Reports mention complications from a stroke, heart failure, and other health issues.
He became Pope in 2013, didn't he? After Pope Benedict XVI resigned.
That's right. Born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in Argentina, he really became known for his humility and compassion.
And choosing the name Francis after St. Francis of Assisi, known for helping the poor.
Exactly. It set the tone for his papacy, focusing on social justice, dialogue, and, reaching out to the marginalized.
The reaction has been worldwide, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Leaders, ordinary people everywhere expressing grief. We saw messages from Ireland's ambassador to India, Guatemala's ambassador.
And Prime Minister Modi also expressed deep sorrow.
Yes, he specifically mentioned the Pope's affection for India and his commitment to serving the poor and needy.
What happens next in the Vatican?
There's a traditional 9-day mourning period. After that, the cardinals will gather for the conclave to elect the next pope.
And India is observing state mourning, too.
Yes, 3 days of state mourning were declared as a mark of respect. His work on interfaith dialogue and tackling global issues like poverty and climate change, it's a significant legacy.
A truly global figure. Now, moving from spiritual leadership to international economics, U.S.-India trade talks seem to be progressing.
Yes, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris met with Prime Minister Modi in New Delhi. A key focus was trade, especially India hoping for some relief from those tariffs proposed under the Trump administration.
And how did the talks go? Any concrete outcomes?
The White House statement mentioned significant progress. Apparently, they're close to finalizing a roadmap for tariff reductions down the line.
So, positive signs. Did they discuss anything else?
Oh, yes. Defense cooperation, critical and emerging technologies, energy security, the usual broad range of strategic topics.
Highlighting the depth of the relationship.
Definitely. And both leaders stressed diplomacy for regional and global security issues. U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai also sounded optimistic about finding, mutual benefits for businesses in both countries.
I read there was a personal touch, too.
Apparently, yes. PM Modi gifted peacock feathers to VP Harris's grandchildren and also reiterated the invitation for former President Trump to visit India.
Right. Now, about those tariffs, there's a deadline looming, isn't there?
There is. A 90-day pause on those proposed tariffs is currently active. If no deal is reached, Indian experts could face tariffs up to 26%. So the stakes are quite high.
And India's finance minister is in Washington now.
Nirmala Sitharaman, yes. Continuing the negotiations, clearly a high priority for both sides to reach an agreement.
Okay, let's bring it closer to home. Big news for Mumbai's infrastructure.
Indeed. The Mumbai International Cruise Terminal, MICT, at Ballard Pier. It's officially started operations.
And it's quite something, isn't it? India's largest cruise terminal.
By far, over 4 lakh square feet, a huge investment, around 556 crore rupees. Massive capacity, too.
How many passengers can it handle?
Up to 1 million passengers a year. That breaks down to about 10,000 per day. It's a major facility.
When was it inaugurated?
Just yesterday, April 21st. Union Minister Sarbananda Sonal did the honors.
And they unveiled some heritage restorations, too.
Yes, the renovated fire memorial, plus 2 restored heritage buildings nearby. Nice to see that blend of modern development and preserving history.
What's the expected impact of this terminal?
Well, a big boost for tourism, obviously. And the economy. It really positions Mumbai as a potential major player in the global cruise industry. Could, reshape cruise tourism for India.
A significant development for maritime infrastructure. Now, staying on the theme of international relations and investment, India and Saudi Arabia.
Right. A high-level task force meeting on investments just happened in Riyadh.
This was just before PM Modi's visit to Jeddah.
Exactly. It was co-chaired by PK Mishra, the PM's principal secretary, and the Saudi energy minister, Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman.
It was on the agenda.
A broad range of economic cooperation topics, basically finding ways to boost investment flows between the two countries. India's ambassador there emphasized the importance of this economic partnership.
This task force isn't new, is it?
No, it was set up after the Saudi crown prince visited India back in 2023. Shows ongoing commitment at the top level.
And this is PM Modi's third trip to Saudi Arabia.
That's right. He'll also be co-chairing a Strategic Partnership Council meeting during this visit.
So definitely a sign of deepening economic and strategic ties.
Clearly a priority for both nations. Okay, let's circle back to cricket, but from a different angle this time. Criticism from Wisden.
Ah, yes, the Wisden Cricketer's Almanac. Always influential. And they've been quite critical of England and Australia.
Very critical. The word used was pandering, accusing them of pandering to the BCCI, India's cricket board.
Pandering how? What's the specific issue?
Wisden argues they haven't really challenged India's growing dominance in world cricket governance, especially regarding scheduling and the international calendar.
Meaning?
Meaning, Wisden sees a trend where England and Australia prioritize playing lucrative series against India, sometimes sidelining matches against other nations.
And the concern is this reinforces India's power.
Exactly, both commercially and politically within the ICC, the International Cricket Council. Wisden feels it undermines fair competition and the global growth of the game.
Does Wisden mention the revenue sharing?
Yes, that's another key point. They highlight the disproportionate share of ICC revenue that goes to the BCCI, arguing it further cements India's powerful position.
So what's Wisden calling for?
They're urging England and Australia to take a firmer stance, basically, and calling for the ICC itself to be more independent and impartial.
It definitely reflects a growing unease about the power balance in world cricket.
You could say that it's a significant commentary from a respected source.
Okay, moving from the dynamics of cricket governance to the fields of agriculture. Concerns from Indian farmers.
Yes, reports indicate farmers are accusing the U.S. of trying to, well, impose its agricultural policies on India.
Impose how? What are the specific worries?
The main concern seems to be that U.S.-backed policies favor large agribusinesses over India's traditional, often smaller-scale farming methods. Worries about promoting GMO crops, increased dependence on foreign inputs.
Things they feel could harm local practices and food security.
Precisely. They see it as potentially undermining agricultural sovereignty and the livelihoods of small farmers. These concerns seem linked to ongoing trade talks and policy discussions between the countries.
Are farmer unions getting involved?
Oh, yes. Strong opposition voiced by various unions, demanding the Indian government resist these pressures. It sparked protests and a wider debate about self-sufficiency and sustainable farming in India.
Has the government responded officially?
Not formally, based on these reports. But the issue is definitely getting attention among experts and policymakers. It touches on core issues of food security and farmer welfare.
Okay, let's turn now to international law enforcement. An arrest in the U.S.
Yes. In Sacramento, California, ICE agents arrested an Indian national named Harpreet Singh. He was reportedly wanted in India for alleged terrorist activities.
How did he get into the U.S.?
Reports say he entered illegally in 2022. He was apparently detained by Border Patrol initially, but then released.
And the allegations from India are serious.
Very serious. Accused of planning grenade attacks on police in India, alleged links to Babar's Khalsa International, or BKI, which is a designated terrorist group.
Any more details on his alleged activities?
Claims include involvement in funding and recruiting for terror operations, possibly linked to another known figure, Harwinder Singh Rinda. Indian intelligence apparently had him on a most wanted list.
His initial release must be raising questions in the U.S.
It seems so. There's been some scrutiny of the administration's handling of the border situation. Homeland Security officials are quoted saying they are actively pursuing foreign terrorists under the current leadership.
So he's in custody now?
Yes, in IC custody facing immigration proceedings. But the case certainly highlights ongoing concerns about border security and tracking individuals with potential terror links.
Okay, shifting focus again, this time to the environment. It's getting extremely hot across India.
Extremely hot. Chandrapur in Maharashtra hit 45.6 degrees Celsius. That's the highest in India right now, and very close to its all-time April record.
Wow. Is it just Chandrapur?
No, several other places in Maharashtra are scorching too. Solapur over 43, Brahmapuri at 45, Nagpur over 43. It's widespread heat.
What's causing it, does the Met Department say?
The IMD attributes it to hot air moving in from the northwest, combined with anticyclonic circulation, basically, weather patterns that stop clouds and rain forming.
And is this expected to continue?
Unfortunately, yes. The forecast suggests the heat wave will persist across many states: Madhya Pradesh, Vidarbha, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Haryana, Odisha, UP, Punjab, Bihar, Jharkhand, probably until late April.
What about other regions?
Bihar might see unusually warm nights, and places like Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat are expected to be hot and humid.
Even coastal areas like Mumbai feeling it.
Mumbai recorded 33.4 degrees, so still warm. Poon's forecast is around 40 to 42 degrees until the 27th. Generally, temperatures are 2 to 4 degrees above normal in many areas due to these pre-monsoon patterns.
Serious situation.
Uh,
Okay, amidst the heat, some cooler news on the tech front. A Japanese company expanding in India.
yes, Tokyo Electron. They're a major player in semiconductor manufacturing equipment. They're setting up a development hub in India.
What will this hub do?
Focus on designing chip-making tools and software. It's a significant move, aligning perfectly with India's big push to become a semiconductor powerhouse.
Could this lead to actual manufacturing here eventually?
It certainly raises that possibility. Establishing a development hub is often a precursor to larger investments, potentially including production facilities down the line.
It highlights the growing Japan-India tech partnership, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Japan has deep expertise in semiconductors, and India is actively courting investment in this critical sector. It's a strategic collaboration.
And Tokyo Electron is hiring significantly.
Yes, apparently amidst an AI-driven hiring spree globally. Shows the demand for talent in this high-tech field. Other Japanese firms like Renesas are also targeting India for sales.
So India's push for semiconductor self-reliance is attracting attention.
It seems to be gaining real traction. With government incentives like those mentioned in Assam, India is becoming a more important part of the global semiconductor picture. Could definitely reshape supply chains over time.
Okay, but international relations aren't always smooth, as our next headline shows. Challenges for Bangladesh's economy.
Yes, reports suggest Bangladesh is facing economic difficulties, partly linked to strained relations with India. Specifically, India stopping its transshipment facility for Bangladeshi goods.
How did that facility work?
Bangladesh used Indian ports and airports as a cheaper, quicker way to get its exports out to the world. It was apparently quite cost-effective for them.
Why did India stop it?
The official reason given was port congestion in India. However, some analysts cited in the reports believe political tensions might have played a part.
What kind of tensions?
Mention was made of Bangladesh putting restrictions on some land ports and cotton imports from India earlier, and also issues surrounding Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus that were perhaps viewed negatively by India. India apparently gave Bangladesh chances to mend ties before this happened.
And the economic impact on Bangladesh has been severe.
Seems so. One report mentioned 170 factories shutting down in just the Beximco Industrial Park, leading to around 40,000 job losses. That's a huge number.
Because their export costs went up.
Exactly. Using alternative routes through Sri Lanka, Maldives, Pakistan is reportedly much more expensive and slower, making their exports less competitive.
Any other impacts?
Disruption to yarn imports from India, which is vital for their big textile industry. They're having to find pricier alternatives for that, too.
It really shows how diplomatic issues can have very real, very significant economic consequences.
Especially for an economy like Bangladesh's, which relies heavily on exports. A tough situation.
Okay, finally, let's look beyond Earth. An Indian astronaut heading to the ISS.
Yes, exciting news. Astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla is set for a 14-day mission to the International Space Station next month.
A collaboration, I assume.
A big one, involving ISRO, India's space agency, NASA, and the European Space Agency, ESA. He'll be conducting 7 different experiments up there.
What kind of experiments? Anything particularly interesting?
Well, one involves tardigrades, those incredibly resilient microscopic creatures. They'll study how they revive, survive, even reproduce in space, comparing their genes to those on Earth. Fascinating stuff.
Definitely. What else?
Another one looks at how astronauts interact with screens and microgravity, tracking eye movements, stress levels, to help design better spacecraft interfaces for the future.
Practical application there.
And there's a joint ISRO-NASA Redwire project on growing edible microalgae in space, testing it as a potential sustainable food source for long missions.
Food in space is always a challenge.
Absolutely. ISRO and ESA are also studying cyanobacteria, seeing if they could be used in life support systems. Plus, experiments on muscle regeneration, crop seed sprouting, and other biochemical studies.
So, a really packed scientific schedule for his 14 days.
Absolutely. These experiments could provide really valuable data for future space exploration, biotechnology, understanding life beyond Earth. Lots of potential.
And there we have it. That brings us to the end of our news roundup for today. Quite a journey through just one day's headlines from India.
It really is. From, the triumphs on the sports field to complex international diplomacy, environmental challenges, technological strides, and even peering into the future of space travel.
A snapshot of a nation in motion, facing challenges and embracing opportunities, both at home and on the world stage.
Exactly. From those tiny tardigrades being studied miles above us, down to the intricate economic and political relationships here on the ground, it really paints a picture.
So we'll leave our listeners with this thought. From the smallest organisms in space to the complexities of international relations here on Earth, today's headlines paint a vibrant, interconnected picture of India and its place in the world. What common threads do you see woven through these seemingly disparate stories?
Something to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.